Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, good morning. I don't know what time it is where you are. It is evening on my side here. How are you doing? Okay, so let's get to work. How is everything with you? So, it's also good to see your face again. So good to see your face. My name is Joy Agagwu, and I'm your IELTS tutor. It's been a very long break, and really, I missed the class. I'm happy to be back. There's been some fluctuations here and there, trying to fix things and put things in order. And it's been quite difficult, but I want to thank God for his help so far, having to schedule and all of that. So sorry about the inconveniences. Sorry about the long wait. Sorry. I got messages, I got calls, I got some chats about the classes. It's not like we put a hold on it. The classes are still on, the classes are still on, the tutorials are still there. It was actually a good time, and the network was quite an issue, I know, but I mean, I directed some persons to go back and watch old videos and try to like do some works and all of that. So I got quite a lot of them in my inbox, and I've responded to some, I've not responded to some, but I've read like almost everything, and issues, it makes it from what I have seen so far, many of us have problems in similar areas. So I'm just putting them down. I'm putting things in order so I can take a class specifically for those things that many people are lacking, especially in writing tasks. What I've discovered is problems of grammar, so many grammatical errors in our write-ups. Our work, most of the works lack cohesion. There's no link between your work. Many of us just wrote and the work is not even like, there's no flow at all. If you do that in your main exams, you're not going to end up with a good mark or a mark that you want. You may not come up with the band that will be useful to you. So you really, really need to go back and look at the band descriptors again. Have a good look at the band descriptors for the writing task. Have a good look at the band descriptors, because if you are able to adhere strictly to the rules and the regulations, if you are able to adhere to like all of the things that your examiner is looking out for in your writing, the band descriptors, you will come out with a good band. There's no doubt about your excelling in your writing task if you go by the rules. How do we go by the rules? At the beginning of the session, in one of those videos, I had told us what we need, the band descriptors, what you need in each of them for writing task 1 and for writing task 2. There are different things that your examiners are looking out for, even though similar, but the components in it are quite different. For instance, in writing task 1, what you expect in your task achievement is not the same thing as what you expect in your task achievement for writing task 2. You have been asked to describe a graph, okay, summarize the information, and then highlight. That's what the examiner has said. If you fail to summarize, then you have not completed the task. Okay, if you fail to write up to 150 words, then you have not completed the task. and your task response score will be very, very low. The same thing applied to writing task 2. In writing task 2, for us to have said you have completed your task, it means that you have answered every aspect of the question and you have written not less than 250 words. For task 1, it is 150 words, while for task 2, it is 250 words. So if you have written and to you have captured all of the information, but your words are not up to 250 for task 2 and 150 for task 1, it means that you're automatically going to score a low band for your task completion. So if you already score a low band for task completion, sometimes some of these things put the examiners away and they can as much as deny you 0.5. Okay, usually the NMC in the UK now accepts for nurses alone to a 6.5 as the cutoff for writing task. Some people have seen results of people with 6.0, just 0.5, because of little mistakes that they made. Some of them go for remark, and maybe by mercy and by favor and by just the doings of God, they were able to scale through. Many of them went for a remark and they even cut them lower. So you need to be very, very careful with what you are writing. You need to follow the rules. That is why anyone teaching you IELTS will usually start with the band descriptors, because that's the basics for all of the writing that you're doing. Writing task 1, writing task 2, and your speaking. Those band descriptors must be followed squarely. They must be obeyed. They are like ground rules that everybody obeys. You're coming to my house, you must knock on my door. That's a ground rule for me to open my door for you. If you come into my house without knocking at the door, you have broken into the house and I can arrest you. I can have you, prosecuted for that. But that there are ground rules everywhere we go to. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. The ground rules for IELTS writing and speaking are the band descriptors. Your ability to follow these band descriptors and give them what they want, that's what makes you a good student. And you pass and go. Okay? So this afternoon, I had written on our notification that we're going to be doing writing task. Some people are like, why does she concentrate on writing, on reading, writing and reading, writing and reading? That's where the majority of the problem is for many people. Quite a few number of people may have issues with speaking, but that has to do with their self-esteem. It has to do with their own morale. It has to do with their personality. And so that kind of an issue, you can easily tackle it. You can easily talk them into coming out from their shell so that as soon as they are with the examiner, they are able to give the examiner what the examiner needs and they pass and go. But the little time you can use for that, you can't use it for reading and for writing. So I concentrate more on reading and writing, and that's why. Okay? Listening, I've told us in this class, and I'm saying it again, listening is solely on you. I can only tell you the type of questions to look out for. I can only tell you, the way the questions are arranged in sessions. Like in session 1, maybe you hear one person, like a monologue, like a telephone conversation, somebody calling to book a space or something in session 1. And in session 2, maybe like a dialogue between 2 or more people where they may be talking about a particular project or something, and then followed by a monologue. And then in session 3, where you have a larger number of persons, all right? Maybe like a lecturer giving a lecture or telling some students about something, and then a monologue. Those are the things I can tell you about listening. I can tell you that in listening, when you've been asked some questions about maybe a number of words, let's say in not more than 2 or 3 words, I'll tell you that if you write more than that, then you're in trouble. But for writing, it needs detailed explanation. It needs you to work. And that's why we spend more time on these areas. Some of the students are passing, they are writing and passing. Many of them are not ready to come out with a video because of village people. Once village people find out that you have passed IELTS, wahala don't come. there's trouble, they will start following you. If that's what you believe, it's fine. But you know, it doesn't hurt really, but it's like it doesn't really give a good feeling when you've been a member of this class and in one way or the other, you have been able to write your exam because of the help that you got from this class. And there are people here who are doubting whether what we are doing is even correct at all. And then we now ask you, can you please tell these people that the help you got from here was useful to you? Can you please tell these people that we are in line with what we are teaching you here? Can you please tell these people that the corrections you got here helped you to get your work done and to pass? Can you please just tell them? And they say, no, I don't like my video to be on social media. But you were coming on social media to come and learn, Abi. You were coming on social media, showing your face. Now I'm seeing all your faces. Madam Uchenna, you're laughing. Grace, you people are smiling at me. If you can bring your face to where it's more than 2, 3, 4 people to come and get information, and the information has helped you, and the only thing that person that taught you or helped you out is asking you is, tell these people that I'm even doing the right thing, and you say no, do you know how it feels? It makes you feel like, is this person ungrateful or what? I'm not expecting anything from any of you, God knows. I'm not doing this teaching for any of you. That's the truth. I'm not doing it for Mr. Tunde, no. It's just, I'm doing it for myself. Look, let me tell you, I can decide not to do it and nothing will happen. Heaven will not fall. Okay? Nobody is paying me. I'm saying it in this class so that you will understand. They say, maybe somebody is at the background paying her. Nobody is paying us to help in any way. But there is this thing. I've been in Nigeria for some years practicing as a nurse, and I know what it is. I told somebody that I came to the UK in July last year, and by August, I was able to pass my OSCE and I got my UK PIN. By September, I had started my preceptorship and I was coming out of it. I was getting my competencies because let me tell you, even the IM injection that you are giving there, if you come here and you qualify, you can't go straight and give it. They must train you. Somebody must watch you and say you are qualified to give it. It's as hard as that. So I was getting my competencies, and by October, I was able to do bank shift. What we call bank shift is extra shift. Then I was struggling. When my children call me, my small boy will say, Mommy, Auntie did not cook. Auntie did not cook what I like. And I will cry, oh, in this house, I will cry and say, God, why am I struggling? What am I doing here? I will go back home, oh, let me go and meet my children. Because I don't have a father, I don't have a mother. I only have stepsisters. These children are all that I have on this earth. So I'm now in the UK and I'm eating. The food not the sweet for my mouth at all. I will eat, my son will call, he'll call me from school, he say, Mommy, provision has finished. I've called them since nobody is coming. And I have sent money, God, what am I going to do? So I was struggling. Anywhere I see shift, I will grab it. I want to do extra shift. I was praying, I was fasting, I was doing everything. I was drying up because I wanted my children to come on time. The first day, the first shift I did in October, one shift, I did a night shift from 8 o'clock in the night until 7 or till 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I did one night shift. By the time they paid me that money the next week, because they paid that one, your extra shift every week. By the time they paid me that money the next week, between God and man, I lie not. When I converted the money to Naira, it was more than my 1 month salary in Nigeria. And I started crying. That is when I said people who want to come to the UK must come. I decided within me to help people. I was teaching people on WhatsApp until this platform came. Why am I telling you these stories? If me can write IELTS and pass and come, nothing can stop you. Many of you, you've got your husbands by your side. I don't get husband. Many of you have your parents that you can easily go to for advice. You can leave your children with your mother and come to the UK for 6 months, for 1 year, or with your mother-in-law. I don't have any of them. No father-in-law, no mother-in-law, no mother, no father, no brother, no sister, no husband, no auntie. The only good auntie I had, they took her away too. So when I look at it that people have opportunities, but they are not making use of it, there's a way it burns me in my heart. And that's why I started these lectures. That's why I agreed to do it. So if you want to get what we are doing here and go without telling somebody, it's up to you, really. We are sowing seeds, and I expect that when a seed is sown and you are able to pass, then you should also encourage somebody. That's all you need to do, you know. You don't need to give them your own result, do you? You don't need to give them your own money. You don't. Just tell them, look, follow these people. Watch these videos. Do the work, do the assignment. Let them correct you. They will actually put you in the right track. That's all I require from you. I've taken good 15 minutes to say this before this lesson, because if you people hear from this class, after all my vetting, you go and you fail IELTS. If you go and fail IELTS, if I see you in my class again, I will delete you. I will remove you. I'm serious, so I'm not joking. So please, what I mean is this: before you go and register, make sure you are prepared, well equipped, okay? So that you can write once, even though it's cheaper than I wrote, but it's still money. There's no money in Nigeria. In fact, there's no money anywhere, but some places are better than some places. So that said, enough of my preaching. This evening, we are going to be talking about writing tax 2. Writing tax 2, because in writing tax 1, why I'm not discussing writing tax 1 now, I've done it before, I'm not discussing it now, is because writing tax 1, you are given an information and you are seeing the information and you can write based on what you see. Do you understand? They give you a graph, they give you a bar chart, they give you a pie chart, they give you a map, they give you a process graph, all right? They give you a floor map and say you should write about this. This is an information that you are seeing. But in writing tax 2, from nowhere in the blues, they just tell you computers are now being used. What if you have not heard that kind of question before? That's where you need to crack your brain. You need to brainstorm, and that's where you need a lot more of talking to. Okay, Kafayat, I'm going to remove you. Since you came in, I've not seen your face. I'm going to remove you from this class. I did send out a warning, not a warning, an information. Please, when you come in, on your video, thank you. So we are going to be doing writing tax 2 today. Writing tax 2. I hope you all have your pads, your writing pads, your pencils, your biros or whatever, because it's going to be work. I don't know why class have not started and somebody is raising hand already. Oh yeah, say something, Beauty.
Okay, ma. Ma, please, there is based on the last thing we did last time, the
Yes,
last class. That was my first class. So
okay.
And the Cambridge past question he asked us to download and read.
To go and do, yes.
Yes. I'm trying to do the writing task 1, but I don't know how to start my first paragraph after analyzing the chat. I don't know how to start putting my first paragraph.
We will discuss writing tax 1 again, number 1. Number 2, if you go to all of the YouTube videos, you will find where we talked about writing tax 1. Can anybody bear me witness that we have discussed writing tax 1 before? Good. You will find it. You can watch it. When you have any question, put it on that video. I will get a notification and then I can respond to it. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes, ma.
So delete writing tax 1 from your brain, or open one side of your brain and keep that one. Then open another side now for writing tax 2 today, all right?
Okay,
yes, ma.
Okay, thank you. So, writing tax 2. Writing tax 2. Writing tax 2 expects you to write with an academic style, all right? Academic style, in the sense that you are not given anything. When they say, write something about your last holiday, do you know that we've been doing these things from primary school? How did you spend your last holiday? How did you spend your last holiday? That is writing task 2. They expect you to compose that thing, all right, on your own. Do you get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Can you hear me? Yes, thank God somebody is hearing me. So writing task 2, I'm going to start telling you the band descriptors for writing task 2. But before then, you're expected to write in an academic style. You're expected to write not less than 250 words. All right? Not less than 250 words. My network is misbehaving. Not less than 250 words, and you are expected to at least follow the rules. If you follow the rules, it is better for you and me. So what are our band descriptors in writing task 1? I've given you an overview. I said it's designed to test your ability to write in an academic style. And here, you must present your information in your own words as complete sentences within paragraphs. You are required to write over 250 words, and the task should be completed in 40 minutes. You are also expected to write, very importantly, legibly, using all the devices that are available to you, ensuring that all the aspects of the question has been completely carried out as instructed. I want to advise you that you should not write too many words. Don't write too much. Highest 270. Highest. Maximum 280. The Bible says that in a multitude of words, sin is not lacking. It applies to English language writing as well. In a multitude of write-up, error is present. For you to avoid error, let your work be as precise and concise as possible. Let it be very, very legible. Write in such a manner that your examiner can see it clearly and mark you correctly. Some of us, as nurses, we had very good handwriting in school. But when we started working with these doctors, we have decided to draw a line and call it ING. We have decided to write anyhow. It's going to affect you in this exam. So I will encourage you that you should write as much as possible, very, very legibly. Okay?
Yes,
all
ma'am.
right? Just give me 1 second. My son just came back from school. I need to open the door for him. Sorry about that. Okay.
Hello, family.
So, sorry, he's not even the one. It's someone else that was knocking. All right. So what I was saying is that you need to write very legibly. Don't corrupt yourself with others the way they write anyhow. It's going to affect you. Here in this country, if you write and your writing is not clear, if there's any issue of litigation, you will be in trouble. The next person that read what you wrote can interpret it to mean something else. And at the end of the day, interpret and then act upon it. And then at the end of the day, they say you have passed on a wrong information. If possible, please write 1-1. And if you must join them together, please let it be not too, you get what I'm trying to say. My people call it afadama.
Yes,
when you write so much and everything is like where chicken waka, it's not going to do you well. I know many of us may not, you don't have to be an artist. If you get what I'm trying to say, you don't have to be an artist, but it's very important. I know somebody who failed English once, the second time she passed, because of her writing. When she's very brilliant, she speaks very well, she knows it, she knows nursing procedure, but her writing is apology. We had to coach her Tell her, look, for the sake of this exam, please, we beg you, just write and pass. She has passed. Now she's waiting for visa capturing on the 25th of this month. What I'm trying to say is, be very, very careful with your write-up. All right? Let it be legible. That will lead me to things that we call band descriptors. I've talked on it before. The first thing, these band descriptors are what you are going to be rated on. That's what your examiner is going to look at. Just the same way we have scheme of work, where your examiner marks based on that scheme, on what you have been told. Nursing Council, they say it's marking scheme, Abi. Marking scheme for IELTS English is called band descriptors. These band descriptors is what they are going to use to mark you. So if you do very well, the band descriptors will tell. If you don't do well, the band descriptors will tell. It is used for your writing task 1 and task 2 and for your speaking. All right? We have task achievements or response. This task achievement or response assesses how well you have focused on the topic and answered the question. So to score your complete mark, you must do the following. Take note of it. Number 1, write over 250 words. 2, satisfy all the requirements of the task. That is, cover all the parts of the topic. Do you understand? What this means is, for instance, you have been told to discuss both views and give your opinion. If you discuss both views and you don't give your opinion, that work is inconclusive, like our elections in Nigeria. And you are going to score less marks. If you have you've discussed both views, I mean, if you discuss one side of the view and you give your opinion, it's incomplete. For them to say the work is complete, it means that you have discussed both views, okay, and you have given your own opinion. That's number 1. Another aspect of this is that there's a structure for the writing task too. The structure is made up of 4 paragraphs, where I have your introduction, your first body paragraph, your second body paragraph, and your conclusion. If you have given an introduction, first and second body paragraph, and there's no conclusion, you have not completed the task. So you have failed somehow with the structure of the writing task too. You develop your main points. That's another one. It means that you have given your points and you have developed it, and then you have given relevant example for your work to be completed, for me to say that you have completely answered my question, okay? The next one is coherence and cohesion. Coherence and cohesion explains how well you write down your ideas, connecting them to make good paragraphs, okay? How sequential is your work? For me to say that you have achieved coherence and cohesion, I would say that you have sequenced your work, the information, ideally and logically. 2, that you have used a range of cohesive devices as it is available to you. Cohesive devices like the joining words. You know what they say when they say cohesion? When there's a link between something, okay? When there is a verb, when you have used verbs, the linking words, that's what we call them in primary and secondary school. However, therefore, in addition, although, but, in, okay? Those words, you have used them accordingly and correctly and in the right places. How is your paragraphing? Did you write and you just wrote sentences? The boy is a good boy, full stop. He goes to a good school, full stop. His mother is a good woman, full stop. And you say that is a paragraph? You link them, all right? And you need to know that 3 to 4 sentences will make you a good paragraph. I like you to use more of complex sentences, simple and complex, join them together using these cohesive devices and get a bulky and a good, informative, clear, concise paragraph. That's where your victory lies, okay? Now, for me to say your work is coherent and there's a cohesion, in your work, it means that there's a progression throughout your work. For example, I said we have a structure, 4 paragraphs, introduction, first body paragraph, second body paragraph, third, and then the last one, which is your final statement, your conclusion. Did you bring conclusion to second body paragraph instead? Is there a flow between your work?
No.
Is your work now moving accordingly? Like you having from point A, you go to B, from B, you go to C, from C, you are on D, and then I can clearly understand without having to ask you. That's the most important thing, that I can understand without having to ask you any question when I read your work. All right? Your coherence and cohesion also has to do with your information. Do you repeat information unnecessarily? However, you are using only however throughout. Or nothing again is more than furthermore and in addition, nothing else. If I'm looking for them, I can't find up to 7 or 10, or I should be able to get up to 7 to 10 if possible in your write-up. Because I know that you should have about 3 or 4 of them you should have like 2 or 3 in your introduction, and maybe have 2. You have 2 ideas in 1 paragraph. So you should have 2 to 3 in each of the paragraph. That will make like 9. So I should have between 8 to 10 in the whole of your write-up, and it should not be the same thing. That's the purpose of your practice. Okay? That's the purpose of your practice. Repetition of ideas. Are you repeating the same thing, saying it over and over again, or what? Now, this leads me to lexical resource. Lexical resource is a component of the band descriptor that accesses your vocabulary in terms of error and how well you can use advanced language to present your ideas. This means that you must, 1, use vocabularies that allow some, form of flexibility and precision. Use less common vocabulary. Look for words, tough, big word, oyibo, and use them correctly. Be aware of the academic writing style and collocation. What I mean is that the academic style is a style that is different from the informal. We're talking about the formal here now, though not letter writing, but official. Avoid errors with your choice of words. Avoid errors with your word formation, with your sentence formation, and very importantly, your spellings. Your spellings. Please, if you are writing, download Microsoft Word, the type that you don't need to pay for if you don't have money to pay. Like, we have a bundle, and I can't share, because if I share it and you are using it, all the things you're doing comes to me by mail. If no, I'm happy to share. I have all the bundles, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft PowerPoint, and the rest of them. It's something I subscribed and I'm paying yearly for. But it's only me and the kids that can use it. You can't use it. If you cannot subscribe to that, then download just Microsoft Word. Because, in your typing, it does do, autocorrect for you sometimes. That way you will get the correct spelling of certain things. If you are using a computer, set it in such a way that it can correct words for you. And words that are not there, add it to the dictionary. That way, when you are seeing these things more and more, by the time you're putting them down, it's much more easier for you. Communication error, spelling errors. All right? Grammatical range and accuracy is the last one. It's about your grammar. How to use more advanced sentences to produce error-free write-up. This is about the use of a mix of simple and complex sentences, like I told you before. This is about you producing sentences and paragraphs that are error-free, okay? Avoiding error in your punctuations. Where you're supposed to have a question mark, did you put a full stop instead? Where you were supposed to have a comma and then continue, did you just put a full stop and started a new statement? Where you are supposed to have dotted your I's and crossed your T's, did you just jump over them? If you write your T and you do not cross it, it looks like an L. And at the end of the day, the error will be in spelling for that thing that you're writing. Grammar. Okay, we did a work. I did give us some assignment. I must say that I am quite impressed with one thing, the response. The fact that many people did that work, even those who are not here, but on the Telegram group. I don't know how they got the answers. I mean, the questions. Maybe they have read it on me, gone through it on YouTube and decided to attempt it. It's quite a good thing that you attempted it. What I'm not happy with is the fact that many of us made mistakes in almost very similar things. And that was grammar. A lot of grammatical errors. Our background is a disadvantage, I know. But that if you are determined, you will do it. That is the main reason why you and I have to write English to come to these countries. Despite the fact that Britain colonized Nigeria, they taught them, they passed on the information and left. But in the course of our people trying to pass this information to us, there were times even in the classrooms in the villages where you have a teacher speaking Igbo or Igala or any other language in the name of trying to explain something to you. It's not their fault. That's their own way of teaching. At the end of the day, this has placed us in a disadvantaged position that these people no longer have confidence in us, that we are able to speak English when we come here. So we need to write the English exam. All right? That's why we need to write the English exam. So yeah, grammatical. Give me a minute. Where are you coming? I couldn't speak. Sorry about that. Grammatical error is the problem that we have. Like you writing a sentence for me and you are telling me that from the graph, I can understand that they're doing. They're doing of what? I saw one like that and I was like, okay, you need to understand this question and you need to put it down. Many of us understood what the question was about. That was my joy. But giving me the information that I needed from you was quite difficult for you because you are unable to communicate in good English. I can say that I understand what you are trying to say, but if I'm your examiner in the position of an examiner, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to wait and see, and then I will score you low. That's the truth. If I'm a teacher, but I'll be a very tough teacher. So you need to give me the information that I want in a language that I can understand. Do we get what I'm trying to say? Grammatical error, please avoid it. Having understood what these band descriptors are looking for from you, we are going to move on to the structure of the writing task 2. The writing task 2 is made up of 4 paragraphs. The introduction, the body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and your final paragraph, which is your conclusion. Different information is expected in these paragraphs, depending on the type of question that you have been asked. The introduction is made up of your general statement, which is your question prompt, and your specific statement. The body paragraphs contains your points, your ideas, explained precisely but very, very clearly, while the final statement or your conclusion is a summary of all your points. In IELTS writing task 2, there are various types of question topics that you will find. You will find education, innovations, crime, media, technology, social issues like single parenting, divorce, drug abuse, substance abuse, peer pressure, okay? Technology and the future, the environment. These are areas where you are going to find questions. As a result of this, it is very, very important and more convenient for you to build up your vocabulary in these key areas in order to have sufficient language to write an essay when you are asked any of these topics. All right? That's why you keep hearing me saying synonyms, synonyms, synonyms. Now, having known the topics that you can expect questions from, what are the questions that you can expect? What are the types of questions? Some schools of thought says there are about 10 to 11 types of questions in writing task 2. But I say that there are 3 types of questions that you can find in the IELTS test. These question types, I will explain them, and you will find all the 11 or 12 that some people are talking about. If you stick to this, you will be fine, because grouping them has given us a way of answering them. Okay, if you know a particular question that falls under this and you know how to answer this, then you'll be able to answer that question that has fallen under it. There are 3 main types of essay questions that are included in the IELTS writing exam. And so it is very, very important for you to learn the structure of these types of questions so that you can discuss it well. 1 is opinion essay. An opinion essay is where you are asked to give your personal view on a particular topic. Number 2 is a both side and opinion essay. Here, you are required to discuss both sides of a particular argument and then give your own view on that argument. Number 3 is a 2-question essay. A 2-question essay expects you to respond to 2 different questions in one. 2 questions, but in one. All right? We will discuss all of them one after the other. Opinion essays now. Opinion essays, there are various types of questions that come under opinion essay, or different types of questions that we can classify as opinion essay. These are questions like 1, what is your opinion? 2, do you agree or disagree? 3, to what extent do you agree or disagree? 4, do you think that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Or do you think that the merits outweighs the demerits? All right? Those 4 questions are all under opinion essay. Some call it argumentative essay, like our debate, where you have to choose between one opinion and talk about it. All right? So now that we know what opinion essay is and what type of question fall under opinion essay, how do you write an opinion essay? How do you plan to write an opinion essay? Planning an opinion essay entails that you should identify your keywords. Number 1, identify your keywords and get synonyms for them. Number 2, decide on the kind of response that you are going to give. For instance, they say, do you agree or disagree? What kind of response are you going to give? You are not going to tell me I strongly agree or disagree. Who asked you? They say, do you agree or disagree? Yes, I agree. No, I disagree. I disagree with the opinion that, or with the notion that, or with the assumption that. That is what your answer should be like. They say, do you agree or disagree? Now, another question can come up and say, to what extent do you agree or disagree? That is when you are going to tell me whether you strongly disagree or agree, or whether you somewhat disagree or agree. These are small, small logics that you need to know. When they say the extent, it means that they want to know whether your extent is strong or not. When I wrote my, what's it called again? Nursing project in school. I had worked on epilepsy, and I had to use chi-square for my, as per my questionnaire, whatever, my type of, getting information. That was the one I chose. It was either to strongly agree, strongly disagree, agree, disagree, no, or none of the whatever. That was how it was. This kind of thing is asking you the exact same thing that kind of question would have asked. If they say extent, remember to mention the extent, whether it is strongly or weakly or somewhat. All right? I will advise, if you see a question that says strongly, to what extent do you agree? Please, I beg you, strongly agree or strongly disagree. Don't somewhat. When you somewhat agree or disagree, you are on the fence. The examiner is confused as to how to mark you. Number two, sometimes you get to shift towards one place, and by the time you don't have a balance of idea, the examiner marks you wrong. Because when you say you somewhat agree, it means that you have enough points to agree and enough points to disagree, but you are writing the two of them together. Who does that? Well, that's English language. So remember this, that I said, when you see a question that asks you, to what extent do you agree or disagree, make a choice to strongly agree or strongly disagree. Please don't somewhat agree or disagree because of conflict, okay, in the points. I just decided to explain that now before we move on. Number three, brainstorm on your key points. Brainstorm on your key points. After you have decided response, what's happening here? Brainstorm. You have to brainstorm on your key points, on your main points, on your reasons. Okay? Brainstorm as much as possible. When you do that, you have all your points written down, and then you can clearly answer your question. Decide on your position or on your assignment. After you have decided your kind of response, decide on your position or the assignment. Do you agree or disagree? Choose which side you belong to.
I didn't get your number two, ma, please.
Number two is to decide the kind of response. Number one is to identify the keywords and to get synonyms for them. Number two is to decide the kind of response. Number three is to brainstorm on your key points. And number four is to decide on your position or the assignment. What are you going to be writing on? What side are you going to choose? Decide it, make a choice, all right? Then number five, final but not the least, is that you should plan the structure of your task. For example, itemize your points from your strongest point to your weakest point. That way, by the time you choose the strong point and you're explaining to me, as I'm reading, I'm already impressed. You know what many examiners do? They read your introduction, okay? And then they scan through your body paragraphs and go to your conclusion. Because it's expected that your conclusion should carry what is in your body paragraph. So they go to your conclusion to know what your points are at the end of the day. You get the point. So how do you write an opinion essay? There are steps in writing the opinion essay. The structure that I told you. Introduction, first body paragraph, second body paragraph, and your conclusion. Different informations are there for opinion essays, for both sides an opinion, and for your two question essay. Your introduction. The introduction for your writing, for your opinion essay, is made up of your general statement and your specific statement. Your general statement is your question prompt, paraphrased. Your specific statement is your stand or your view. Okay? To paraphrase, you just need to know the keywords in the statement. Then using your synonyms, you compose the sentences in that paragraph. We all know what synonyms are, don't we? Synonyms are words that have the same meaning or nearly the same meaning. And we use them to say the same thing in a different way without changing the meaning of the whole statement. Is anybody confused? Is anybody confused? No,
Yes,
nobody's confused. Is anybody confused?
I didn't get it clearly, ma. Please. I didn't get it clearly.
Christiana, which one did you not
Yes,
get?
ma, I didn't get it clearly.
Okay. I said
As you were explaining
that
the introduction in
the
essay.
introduction of your writing task, your opinion essay, is made up of your general statement and your specific statement. Your general statement is a paraphrase of your question prompt. The question they have asked you, they said that drug abuse has been on the increase. Okay. Some people think that moral decadence in the society is responsible, while others assume that it is an individual issue. Do you agree? No, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Don't write it down. I'm just forming a question in my head. And I don't even think that should be the question I should ask. Okay. Drug abuse is on the increase in the society. Some people think that moral decadence is responsible. To what extent, yes, do you agree or disagree? The introduction to this question, I'm saying now that it is your specific statement and your general statement. The general statement is what I have just said. Your introduction, how you are going to write it is that what I have just said, you are going to paraphrase what I have said without using my own words, which is your general statement. So general statement paraphrased using synonyms, okay, is what will give you, plus your specific statement is what will give you your introduction. My opinion, my answer now, for instance, is that I do agree that moral decadence in the society is responsible for drug abuse. All right, for example. What I'm going to say is that I agree. Then this essay will discuss my opinion. Together, that will form my introduction. Are you still confused? General statement, specific statement, plus, added together gives you an introduction. General statement is from the question prompt. Specific statement is the assignment that you are going to be doing. It's your side, it's your view, it's your opinion. All right? That will give you your introduction. Do we all understand now? Good. I move to, in an opinion essay, before I move on, in an opinion essay, as much as possible, if you don't know whether to say I agree or disagree, if you don't know how to construct the English, please write that this essay will discuss my opinion, full stop. Nobody will penalize you. You get your full mark. It's easier to say that. But if you know how to construct your agreement statement in code, for instance, I am of the opinion that, what is the other word for moral decadence? Irresponsibility on individuals, okay? People not having the right morals, the upbringing or home training, the lack of training is responsible, all right, for the increase in substance abuse or the increase in the use of illicit drugs. I'm talking about drug abuse here among teenagers or wherever, among the youngsters. or in the society generally, in the community. When they say society, you can use community, you can use nation, you can use anything that has to do with a group of people. Do you get my point? And that's the reason why I gave you those types, those question types that you will find, the question topics, sorry, that you will find at the beginning of this thing. Where I said crime, I talked about media, computer, technology, all of that. What you should do, what I usually tell people is that you should get at least 5 vocabulary, 5 synonyms each for all of this. Go to Google. There's an app for synonym. If you go to Play Store, you can download an app for synonyms. All these things have gone online. The world is gone global. You can just type it on your Google search, maybe, and you can just type synonyms for drug abuse, and you will see them from up to down. There are very many. Then you need to make a choice of which one to use, because it's not all of them that you can use in a sentence. I hope you know that. Depending on the context where you are discussing, that's the one that you should choose to use. Okay, so you write 5 of them out, and in the course of your practice, as you come across this question, make reference to those things that you have documented and make use of those words instead of you repeating one thing, you know, continuously all through the write-up. All right, that's that. Then for your introduction, I've explained that. And there's usually an example that I used to give where I say many males, you know, most men drive cars to work, and then my rephrase or my paraphrase for that, and I'll say many males use automobiles to get to their workplaces or to get to their jobs. Now, there are some times that you may not have the words to change everything. But please, I want to solicit, I want to beg you that you should please change as much as you can. If you can change everything like me, I do try to change everything. Change everything if you can. It's unlike the writing task 1, where you have dates that you can't change and names of places that you cannot change. You see that this is one of the differences between writing task 1 and writing task 2. In writing task 1, when they say over a period of time, like maybe they say that from January 2020 to December 2020, the 2020 must be there. Or you can just say over a period of 6 months. There are certain things you cannot change, names of places. If they had said that maybe like an incident in Nigeria, you cannot change it from Nigeria. You cannot use Africa for Nigeria. It has to be that particular one, all right? Some nouns cannot be changed or replaced. So that is one difference between writing task 1 and writing task 2. In writing task 2, you can change everything that you want to change as much as possible, please. Replace the words with words that will not change the meaning of the whole thing. It will still give you the same meaning. That's what we call synonyms. Okay. All right. So I will move on to, well, we've done this task before, haven't we? Let me see. Your introduction for each of the types. You know, I gave you 4 types of opinion essay, didn't I? So how do you paraphrase for each of the tasks? You mark your keywords. Okay. If you agree, the first one, they say, do you agree or disagree? You need to say in your specific statement if you agree or disagree. For B, where they say, to what extent do you agree or disagree? In the introduction, you mark the keywords, paraphrase the statement using synonyms identified, state what your opinion is. You can say this essay will discuss my opinion. It is safe and correct to do this, especially when you do not know what to write as correct sentences. For C, in the specific statement for C, you can state whether you should state whether you strongly agree or disagree, or somewhat agree or disagree. but you must state the extent. And for D, where I said, I said, do you think that the advantages outweighs the disadvantages? They're asking you what your opinion is, what your thought is. You must state what your thought is clearly. Remember that, like people used to say, first impression does what? It matters a lot. So start your essay in the most appealing way that you can, so as to capture the heart and the attention of your examiner. Having done this successfully, if it's me, I will pick interest in the entire write-up, and it will put you in a very, very good, in an advantage position for a good mark. That is for the introduction of opinion essay. How do we write the body of opinion essay? When you have had your introduction clearly written out, correctly written, error-free sentences produced, I would suggest that you put at least 2 reasons in each paragraph. A good paragraph should have at least or at most 2 ideas in it, 2 main ideas. So all in all, you should write only 2 paragraphs for your body paragraph, which is body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. 4, do you agree or disagree? Okay, you need to put your strongest points, 2 of them, put them together in the first body paragraph. Then, in your second body paragraph, put one of your points and a concession. Who will tell me what a concession is?
Like a contradicting.
Exactly.
Let's continue.
You don't hear the word where 1 year. Contradiction. You are contradicting yourself. I explained this thing before, and I said it's like in a debate where you will say, for example, you say male children are better than female children. And I am arguing that female children are better. And I've given all my strong points. Why are female children better? They tend to look after their parents more in old age. They can bring them to their husbands' houses. I can count on my fingers many women that I know whose parents had to stay with them in their father's houses. But their brothers, the wives of the brothers, did not allow the mother or the father to stay with them. Instead, it's her own parents, which is still female children. Do you understand the point? Another part that the female children play is the fact that they tend to do better in their careers more than the males. I tell you the truth. My immediate younger sister, who is my stepsister, is a civil engineer. And she is a good civil engineer. I can tell you that, not because she's my family member. She's a lecturer in Kogi State University, and I know some of her students. She's a good lecturer. So when you see them, because the male tend to dominate, that profession, any female you see in that profession who must do everything to make sure that her head is high. So they tend to do very well, better than their counterparts in a competitive or in a career where the male folks are supposedly occupying more positions. That is one advantage. Another aspect is the fact that the female children are the ones at the end of the day who carry pregnancy for 9 months and still work. Female multitask. So you see that I had my strong points, and as I'm getting down, the strength of my points are getting lower. Do you see the logic? That's how your work should be. And now I'm arguing that female children are better, and my opponent is busy giving points why male children are better. But because I need a concession against my own point, I come in and I say that, Mr. Moderator, at the end of the day, I say maybe like, although my counterparts or my co-debaters will tell you that the male children are the ones who carry the family name. What is a family name? I'm going to now counter that very point. I say, what is a family name when the name is not even good? Because the male is not representing the family name well. A family name means nothing when the male is not able to take care of the responsibilities of the home. So I have said, yes, it's a good thing they carry the family name, yes. But I can even come out and say, even the family name they are carrying, is it not the woman that gives birth to the child that is bearing that their name that they are talking about? So what I'm trying to explain all in all is the fact that you are bringing in a point that is against your own point, but you will still go ahead and put one of your points with it so as to counteract it. That is what a concession is. Now we are saying that drug abuse maybe is because of moral decadence. And I'm saying, I'm on the opposite side, and I'm saying, no, it can't be moral decadence. Individuals have their choices, especially in a country where from 18 years, their parents have nothing else to say about their decisions. So I will come in and say, although it is believed that, when children are brought up in a good way, all right, they tend to make good choices, but from the age of adulthood, or from the moment a child becomes an adult, he or she will want to make decisions on his or her own. The parents have nothing over it. So your good morals, if you have not, if the child does not want to go by your good morals, despite your 18 years work, the child still goes ahead and makes his or her own choice. Maybe all the other years they have been pretending. They have been, trying to follow it because you are just trying to bend them so they can go out of your house. As soon as they're out of your house, they go ahead and they make their choices. That's a point that has now counteracted that point that my opponent would have said that it's a strong point for them. That is what we do in writing tax 2 where there's an opinion essay. So use another point that is outside your point, but before then you would have given me strong points. All right, you would have explained your strong points so that when you give me a concession, what the concession does is the fact that it makes the examiner to know that you know what you are doing. That despite the fact that you do understand that moral decadence is responsible, you are still going by the fact that individuals have the power of choice. Despite the fact that male children can be the progenitors of families and be the ones that will carry the family name and all of that, you are still going with the fact that the female children are better because they tend to look after their young ones. They also tend to look after their parents in old age. And they do well. So this is what you are going to do in your second paragraph, in your second body paragraph. You give one of your points and a concession. Then you go to your conclusion. When you want to conclude, I beg you to give a signal to your examiner that you are going to conclude. Don't say to sum it up. Don't say after all is said and done. Please, 2 things. In conclusion, comma, continue your write-up. Or conclusively, that's it. There are no 2 conclusions. So your examiner is not going to say you have used in conclusion 2 or 3 times. No, it's one conclusion. So get used to one of them. Conclusively, comma, continue. Or in conclusion, comma, continue. Please. So that you don't go and speak English that will put you in trouble. I don't know if you get my point. If all of us in this house use in conclusion or conclusively, the examiner cannot mark you wrong. He can't mark any of us wrong so long as we have done the right thing. All right? That's just what I want you to know. That's that about opinion essay. You don't need too much write-up in opinion essay. Just give me at least maybe 255 or 260 or 250 on the dot. If that's what it is, you are not penalized in any way. Your introduction, your general statement, your specific statement. Your general statement is a paraphrase of your question prompt. Your specific statement is the assignment you have been given, your opinion, your point, your view, your side of the argument. What have you decided to do? Agree or disagree? Whatever you have decided, make your point known. Join it together with the general statement. Give me an introduction. Body paragraph 1, your strong points, 2 of them with an example, relevant example. Body paragraph 2, one of your points and a concession. Conclusion, all of the things that you have said in body paragraph 2 and 1 and 2. That's what to make up your conclusion. How do I conclude? I will start with the other point, the concession. Conclusively, comma, despite the fact that the male child carries the family name, I am of the opinion that the female child is still better because she tends to do well in careers where males dominate, takes care of the family in old age more, and also helps in reproduction. Full stop. I have concluded. You see, 3 of my points from the two points in my body paragraph 1 and the 1 point in my body paragraph 2, where I had the concession, has come into my conclusion. I started with the concession because I want to conclude with my points. Okay? I want to make the emphasis is on my own point. The emphasis is not on the concession. I want the examiner to focus on my point because I have said I agree or I disagree. So the points that I gave for agreeing or disagreeing is what she should be looking out for and not the concession. But the concession has helped to show her that even though I understand the part of the male child, I still follow or I agree or I have taken the part to support the female child. That's just it. That's all about opinion essay. You don't need any other thing for opinion essay. For that agree or disagree kind of question. The difference here with to what extent you agree or disagree is in that statement where you write strongly agree or disagree. All right, that's the difference. Now, I will take you to maybe, let's see if I'm still going to discuss a few things here. Okay, I've discussed the body. Don't want to forget anything. So yes, I've said it that your second body paragraph contains 1 reason and a concession against your strong point, and your conclusion is a summary of all your points. You need to send a signal to your examiner that you are concluding. Therefore, you can use phrases like in conclusion or words like in conclusively. Okay, you summarize your main points. Give your final opinion or recommendation. Restate your opinion. You see, I restated my opinion that I am of the opinion that, didn't I? You give your reasons if you have to. Here, we have finished all of that for your opinion essay. We're going to see just a few common errors in opinion essay. People make some small mistakes in opinion essay. And what are these small mistakes? One of them is when you have an unclear opinion. It is advisable to choose to totally agree or disagree as to somewhat agree or disagree, because that one will be confusing. Another thing is choosing the wrong side to argue on. Please choose the side that you have more points. Okay? Choose the side that you have more points. I watched a movie. The movie says God is dead. God is dead. It's a Christian movie. And the boy kept arguing God is not dead. God is not dead. And he was in college and he kept saying God is not dead to people. But he had no points to prove that God was not dead. But they had enough points to prove that God was dead, because if God was alive according to them, all the chaos and the happenings, the diseases, the deaths and the evils that were happening shouldn't have happened if there was God. So they said God is dead. And they went into a debate. And he was arguing with a professor of physiology, a professor of philosophy or whatever in school. All he knew is the Bible. And he was just going by the fact that God is alive and he is a born-again Christian. So he didn't have points. Okay? At the end of the movie, there's always a turnaround, but in the main movie itself, they warned him that God was dead. Why? Because they had enough points to buttress their view, to explain what they believed in, or what the point that they chose, their own side of the opinion. They had enough points. He didn't have. If they come and tell you, you believe so much that divorce, okay, is bad, is evil, and now they have asked you a question, and you don't have enough points to prove that divorce is not good. Please, if you have enough points to prove that divorce is good, go for it. It's just an exam. It's just an exam. I've explained to us before that if they say in reading, they give you, forget about whatever you know previously about the topic. For the sake of this exam, act according to what you have been asked. Write what you have been told to write, all right? And get your score and go away. Get your score and go away. Do we understand? I know we do understand. Do we understand?
Yes, ma.
Yes, ma'am.
So the common errors, sometimes we also contradict ourselves. That's why you must decide. You must choose a good side to argue on. Choose the side where you have more points. Don't contradict yourself, please. And then concession error. When you choose to totally agree or disagree, it's easier for you to have a concession. But when you choose somewhat agree or disagree, it's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. All right? So you need to avoid that as much as possible. Now, before I go ahead with what I'm about to do, hey, wait, time don't go. Before I go ahead with what I'm about to do, I'm giving us 2 minutes to ask a question. Does anyone have a question to ask? Because I may not treat this particular one in a short while. We have to do something else.
I have a question.
Okay, ma, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
You say we should, okay, in this body paragraph, that we should have 2 strong ideas with, is it with an example, or each of them have an example backing the idea?
One example is okay. See, there's a way you can give an example that will cover for both of them. And the example does not have to be one elaborate example. For instance, the female child tends to look after their parents or tend to care for the family more than the male child. For instance, I'm giving an example now. For instance, the parents of the girl child in their old age will prefer to live with her than living with the boy and his family because of the care they receive from her. Full stop.
Okay.
The woman is created with an intuition to care, it's instinct, the instinct to care. If you have 2 children, who is a male and a female, one of them, especially the female, tends to go somehow, without you saying anything, coming closer to you in terms of cooking and washing. There's this instinct about the female role that comes with a child. The boy child tend to do more of work, destruction of toys, trying to do things, maybe to go and be cutting grass outside. I'm telling you from experience and from other people's experience as well. Is the more they grow older, that's when the boys are forced to care, to show it. They are not as expressive as the female child. Meanwhile, what me and you want is the expression of the care, not you caring for me and it's in your heart. Are you able to put that down and say that they tend to show more care and attention to parents when they are older than the male counterparts? The male may even be the one sending all the money to his elder sister or younger sister, but he's not available. It is the female that can go and take permission from work to come. I'm telling you this so that if you see, in case you come across anything like this in the course of your practice or in the course of your writing, you can think of these ideas. She can even take some time off work. But the boy cannot take some time off work. You know why? He has to care for his family and also send money to his sister who is looking after his parents. But the parents tend to be closer to the girl because she is the one that is showing the love. So how are you going to explain this? For instance, the drug abuse thing that we used as an example, as another example, if I say that children make their choices, individuals are entitled to their opinions and their choices, and they make them where they want to, especially as adults. For instance, a child while still under his parents will obey all the rules and regulations set aside for him. But as soon as he's out of the house, he mixes up with his peer and then makes decisions on his own. I've given an example, haven't I?
Yeah.
Do you accept that as an example?
Yeah,
So sometimes your example is in your explanation, okay?
Okay.
If it's
Yes,
one example you can give, fine. If you think you have the time and the energy and the space without making errors, without having to say things that are erroneous, fine. You can go ahead, please, and give 2 examples for each. But remember that I told you that you need to link your reasons. You need to link your points. So are you able to use your cohesive device after giving an example for each? Are you able to link them, to use them to link them? Because if they are not well linked, despite your double examples, you are going to have a low mark. So make your choice correctly and then practice very well. In the course of your practice, you will get used to what method works for you better. Okay?
Okay, ma. Yes, ma.
Do you understand my point?
Yes, I do. Thank you, ma.
Any other question, please? No other question. Grab your pen and write.
Please excuse me, ma.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry for taking you back a little bit. Please, in that concession, can you just write it at the conclusion part, not
No.
getting it? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Your concession has to come in your second body paragraph because it has to appear in the body paragraph for it to be in your conclusion.
Okay. Okay.
Remember that your conclusion is a summary of your point. So what are you summarizing it? Why can it come to where it has not appeared? It has to appear in the body paragraph for you to have a summary of it. Do you get the point?
Yes, please. Thank
All
you.
right. Okay.
Hello, ma. Hello, ma.
Yep.
Please, ma. I would like to say the question. I came in late. My network was fluctuating, so it's just recently the thing stable. My question there now, or maybe you can just help me a bit by throwing more light, ma.
Okay.
In
What's
this
your question?
the opinion as in the opinion essay. Okay, I think we are dealing with to how extent do you agree? Then what you are calling section
If I can't see
now?
that you are on video, I'll remove you. It's one of the rules. I'll remove you if your video is off. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not joking. Please.
Okay, ma. What you call concession now is maybe the point, because we are asked how extent, to what extent do you agree? Like assuming that I'm agreeing
That's
to
not
this topic. Let me assuming that I
okay.
agree. Does it mean that the first paragraph will now carry my point of agreeing? Then the second one will now be the concession. Is this what you're trying to tell us? Do you get cool?
I'm even confused with your question.
I said we are dealing with to what extent do we agree? Then in that question, I'm not assuming that I agree to the statement. I'm not trying to know. I'm not trying to know if what you meant is that since I'm agreeing, then my first paragraph.
One of your points must disagree for your concession. You must give me a point that disagree. You agree, and you are giving me main points for agreeing. You are giving me 2 good points that you agree in body paragraph 1. In body paragraph 2, you are giving me 1 point that you agree in body paragraph 2, and you give me a point that you disagree in body paragraph 2 as well.
Okay.
So there's a concession, all right?
Okay.
That's what it means. That against your strong point, there's another point that is not in line, they point from the opposite side. And that's why I use the debate as an example. I've used this debate thing as an example almost every time. Different topics of debates. They tell you teachers are better than doctors. And I say that doctors are better than teachers. But I have given all my points. And my opponent is busy saying that teachers are better. And their main point is the fact that teachers are the ones that taught the doctors. And I say that although teachers are the ones that taught the doctors, but when the teachers are sick, it is the doctors that treat them. So a point from the other side into my point, then I counteract it. Do you get the point? Good. Any other question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please. You have been quiet in this class. I've not heard your voice.
Okay, ma'am. Is it compulsory that the ideas, you said we should give two main ideas in the first body paragraph and the concession?
I'm not done with my question.
Yes.
Is it okay to just? Is it okay to just? Okay. Is it okay to just give one main idea for the first body paragraph and then the concession and another main idea for the second body paragraph?
When you give two ideas, you are safe. If your examiner refuses to pick one of the ideas, she will pick the second one. Abi? When you give one idea and she refuses to pick it, what happens?
It becomes a problem.
It's more like a backup.
Yeah.
Do you understand now? It's more
Yes.
like a backup. Okay. When you give two ideas, definitely one is stronger than one. So you can just say, oh, okay, because she has said it, let me ignore the other one. But if you give a weak idea as one point, and it's weak already, there's nothing else to back it up, what will happen? Number two, when you have one main idea and then a concession, or maybe another idea and then a concession, there's every likelihood that you have less than 250 words. Okay? There's every possibility that you will have less than 250 words. I can bet you on that one. Because you have cut your sentences, you have cut your paragraphs short. That way, you have not fulfilled the requirements of the task and the band descriptors. Number two. Number three, when you give one idea and possibly an example, there's every likelihood that you will deviate from the main thing. So to be on the safe side, give two ideas, please, two reasons. In fact, you can give three if you know it. Make sure you link them. Make sure you use enough cohesive devices. Use them more to link them. If you have 3 points, I don't mind if it's me. I can tell you the examiner too doesn't mind. As long as your word is within the limit, your words are just within the requirement limit, you are good to go. There's not too much information, but there's too less information. If the information is less, it will reduce your band score. If the information is too much, get a band 9 now and go. Abi, they should give you the band 9. Maybe you have given more than enough information and give me the 9, let me go. But that I don't want anything that will reduce my mark less than 6.5. So please, two reasons in each of the body paragraphs. In body paragraph 1, 2 supporting reasons. In body paragraph 2, 1 supporting a reason, 1 not supporting reason. Do we understand?
No, ma. Sorry, ma.
You came in late to the class, and now we
I know, ma. I know I
Thank
came
you,
in, but
Go ahead. Let her finish, please. Go ahead, ma.
Ma, I was just like, I know I came in late, so sorry, ma. If does it mean that that concession must come in, even when I totally agree with the statement?
You must have a concession to show that you understand, and that's why you totally agree. Your concession shows me that you understand the question, but that you have chosen the side where you are because that is the side you want to choose. Your concession tells me that you have a general idea of the whole question, but that you have decided to stick to your opinion, which is what you have given me your strongest point on. Do you agree now?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. All right, Akojenu, let's go.
Okay. All right, now. Okay. Now my question is on the body paragraph.
Yeah.
Somebody told me, and I need clarification on that if I want to write my body paragraph one, that the topic my own agreement on that should be what I should write in the first paragraph with an example. Then the second paragraph should be like what's it called? The opponent, like the oppositing
The
debate
concession.
for my own answer, what I agree on, and I should write 2 points of the concession. I should write 2 concessions in the paragraph 2 and an example.
Okay,
so,
let me cut you short.
What you told us now is that we should make sure that we can write at least 3 for our own.
Okay, now let me cut you short. By
So
the time you
right?
write
Or
1 point,
that
I'm going to cut you short. By the time you write 1 point, because you support that opinion, that notion, you write 1 point, and you write 2 points for concession. I beg, which side are you? Do you get the logic?
Concession.
Does this thing make sense to anybody? Does it make sense to anybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't say you agree, and you can't say you agree, and you have only 1 point that you agree with an example, and then you are coming to write 2 points for the side of the disagreement. I don't get it.
I know. I'm not traveling. I'm not traveling actually. I'm not doing. I'm not actually doing. I'm not.
Point for the agreement.
I know
What I mean is 2 points for the agreement and 2 points for the concession with an example each.
No, please. No, it means that what you are doing is that you are somewhat agreeing. If you have equal points for both of them, it means that you're on the fence. And I did explain to us that we should avoid being on the fence. We should avoid somewhat agreeing. If I were you, if you are my examiner, all right, and I tell you that I agree to something, shouldn't I give you more points that I agree than points that I do not agree? Should I not? Ordinarily. Yeah? Good. So you need to give me, all in all, 3 points that you agree. Or if you are disagreeing, 3 points that you disagree. And then 1 point that you agree. And if you are agreeing, 3 points that you agree and 1 point that you disagree. Do you get the point? I'm counting 4 points. Usually, it is 2 points each for each of these body paragraphs. 2 points each for the body paragraphs. First body paragraph, you give me 2 points that you agree. Second body paragraph, you give me a point that you agree and a point that you disagree. That way you have your 4 points. All right? Do you get the point now, please? If you are in this house and you are taught anything otherwise, other than what we are saying now,
yes, I do.
It may help you. It may not, because we have practical example of what I'm saying. Okay, go ahead. Mr. Peter, go ahead. I have unmuted you. You are still muted. Please check your phone. Check your screen. Click on it. Okay.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening,
Yes, I can hear you.
Thanks for your time. I want to make a contribution on what you have said, maybe to buttress to the understanding of my colleagues. What she is teaching us is that in this particular exercise, it is better that you have 3 points for yourself and 1 against it. In the event that maybe the concession cancels out one of your points, you still have 2 points for yourself, which will not give you the mark that you're supposed to get. So if you now write one point only for yourself and 1 concession, but if the concession cancels your point, what are left with? You won't be left with anything. So it is better, as she said, as she has taught us, that you have 3 points, 2 points in body paragraph 1, 1 point in the second paragraph with a concession. Now, the other auntie, let me explain the position of the concession. The position of the concession is like our white uniform stained with a black ink. Yes, your white will be more glaring to everyone that's seeing you, but the black will be there. Now, even though the black is there as small as it is, it's forming a contradiction, but the size of your white uniform is larger than the black, so it covers it. So that's what the concession does. And it brings out your point and makes your essay sweeter to the examiner or to whoever is reading your essay. That's what I want to say.
Thank you very much. Do you understand now? Is it clearer? Okay. Can we move?
Yes, ma.
Onyinye is unmuting herself. Do you have a question?
No, please. No, ma. Thank you.
Okay. Who else has question? We want to move. We must do this exercise, whether we like it or not. We must do it. We'll not just be talking. And then you come and bombard my email. Oh boy, it's only God that knows when I will finish answering all of those emails. I'm sorry if I have not replied you, but I have read them. That's the truth. I have gone through them and at least I've made a general correction. Our major challenge is with grammar and the coherence and cohesion. Some of us have good points. If I am marking as per a merciful examiner, or I'm just marking as a friend, I may say I understand what you are trying to say. But being the examiner for IELTS is not going to work. It can't work that way. So I will advise you that you go through based on what we have learned today, for the opinion essay, based on what we have learned today, it's not too late for you to go and edit that work and resend it. Okay? If you still have it in your email, and by whatever means you got a better understanding of what we have discussed today than you got the other day, go back, edit it, and send it. Is one of the purposes, or you can write a fresh one. Now, grab your pens and pencils and biros and baggages. There is a high demand for interaction between children in schools. There is a high demand for interaction between children in schools, despite the diversity in their languages and cultures. Some are of the opinion that all children should study a foreign language. Okay, let me just share my screen. I think it's better. You can take a screenshot, okay? Let me share the screen. Okay. If you see my screen, can we see the screen now?
Not yet, ma'am.
Can you see? Yes, you should see it now.
Yes.
Yes,
can
please.
You see? Good. So write it.
Please.
Now write it.
I can see it now.
Write it. We are going to discuss it and you write it as work. Remember, there are 2 tasks here. You are writing 2 things. Do you agree or disagree? To what extent do you agree or disagree? Have we written it?
Yes, ma.
Good.
Yes.
This one, there's nothing like you understand or you don't understand. You are going to answer me by all means as soon as I ask you a question. Okay. Queenette.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you understand the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Give me an introduction. Say it.
The network cut me off. I didn't finish the question. Please, ma'am.
What side did you stop? I will tell you.
Some are of the opinion that all children should study. That's where I stopped.
To study a foreign language in school. A foreign language in school, starting from the earliest grades. Grades as in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Starting from the earliest grades. Full stop. Do you agree or disagree? Number 2, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Now give me an introduction, okay, for the first part. Do you agree or disagree?
Thank you, ma'am.
Generally, when you see a question like this, the first thing that you should do is to underline your keywords. Then get your synonyms. Paraphrase that and add your specific statement to it, and you give me an introduction. It should take not more than 3 minutes for you to do that, because you are not writing it, you are saying it. There's a high demand for interaction between children in schools, despite the diversity in their languages and cultures. Some are of the opinion that all children should study a foreign language in school, starting from the earliest grade. The need for socialization among kids in schools. What are that words for school? In places of learning is on the increase, irrespective of their different backgrounds and dialects. Some people think that every child should be taught these strange languages beginning or at the beginning of their study. I'm just doing this in my head. The need for socialization among school kids is on the increase, irrespective of the differences in their backgrounds and dialects. Some people think that the young ones should be taught the strange languages or dialects at the beginning of their studies. I have not changed the meaning of the statement. I have said exactly what the person is saying using different words. Do you agree or disagree? Yes, your time is up, Queenette. Can you say anything? I've said something already. I've even said it.
Okay, I should
Go ahead.
Okay. I agree that the need for socialization among school kids. Okay, no, sorry, but I agree that all children should study foreign languages. Okay, sorry, ma. Let me just paraphrase. I agree that young school children should be taught different dialects and languages in their early stages in school. Okay, that is the introduction, ma.
Is that all? Okay, you will write it and send it to...
Okay.
I understand you. You write it as an assignment and send it, everybody. It's our assignment. You write it and send it. Meanwhile, we'll discuss it in class. I have done the introduction halfway. If I say that I am of the opinion that children or the young ones or kids, school kids, should be exposed to the background of other people and should also be taught, okay, how to interact in those languages. Now, I hate the repetition of the language. And so you need to, under education, you need to get synonyms for language. Get synonyms for languages. When you see this kind of question, please go ahead and do it. I am of the opinion that the growing kids should be exposed to the backgrounds of other people. I am of the opinion, and this essay will further discuss my points, my view. Mr. Peter, do you agree or disagree? Yes or no?
I agree.
Give me 2 points why you agree.
Because I agree because it improves their personal interaction.
One.
And increase the unity among these individuals or individual children.
It increases what? I didn't get that.
Unity among...
Unity.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other point? It's because that point is too close to the interaction.
The interaction.
Any other point? Yeah. Fafa. Where is Fafa? I thought she was here. Sharon. Madam Sharon, can you hear me? Doris. Doris.
Yes, ma.
Do you agree or disagree?
I agree, ma.
Give me 2 points why you agree.
Point one. It promotes good communication, thereby enhancing the relationship.
Okay. Another one.
That's all I can remember for now. I'm still writing it.
Okay. Informa. Informa.
I can hear you, ma.
Okafor.
Yes, ma.
Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. It was my number
Give me
one
2
point
points
is that
why you agree.
it will prevent in the future, it will prevent cultural shock when exposed to other background.
Hey.
Secondary, it will help them to cope very well in another place because it will understand the tradition. They will have a little, they will have the knowledge, they will have knowledge of other, they will cope well because it will prevent cultural shock and also help them to understand the tradition or the culture of that of other background.
Okay, your point, I'll take it as 1. Because it's when they understand the culture of the other people that there's no culture shock or a shock, okay? Culture shock is taken out because they understand the culture
ma.
and the
Another
background
point,
of the other people.
Okay, ma.
Good.
It will also help them to interact better with when exposed to other culture. They'll be able to socialize easily.
Exactly. Yes, okay, Sufiano, do you agree or disagree?
I agree, ma.
Give me 2 points.
Okay. One of the reasons would be because if they are taught to learn a new language at such an early age, which is thought to be complex, I think it would boost their intelligence at that early stage.
Okay.
And also, they'll be able to take on more on similar complex tasks also.
Sarah, do you agree or disagree? Sarah? Sarah, where? Do you agree or disagree? Can you hear me, ma? I'm unmuting you. Do you agree or disagree? Yeah. Do you understand the question, ma? Oh, she's driving.
Yeah. Hello.
Do you agree or disagree?
Hello? I agree.
Okay,
hello,
give me 2
me?
points. Yes, give me 2 points.
I have here, it will promote good interpersonal relationship.
1.
Then it will also make them understand the tradition of that particular
culture. Okay. Can you give me a concession? I need 1 concession. No concession.
I can think of one
Okay,
now.
no problems. Thank you. Lillian. Lillian. Give me one concession. Give me one concession. Oh,
network is frustrating me here. Network is frustrating me.
Tower. Tower, give me one concession. I can't even. Tower. Gift. Gift. You think I forgot you, Abby? I not go forget you. Oh yeah, give me one concession.
Okay, ma. Ma, for kids that are still small and in early grades, I think multitasking of different languages may somehow be difficult.
Thank you. Thank you. Too much information. Too much information for them. Their brain is too, you don't have to bombard them with too much. Okay? If I'm writing, I'll take that as my, when I saw this question, that was my concession. I agree, but that was my concession. And then another concession, another point, I mean, could be that there will be no more bullying, whether you like it or not. If you have young kids who go to school, there may not be bullying where we are back home, but there's bullying here. Especially the early time when they come and they are speaking the spree, and that child cannot understand it on time. They bully them. Even the older ones as well, they are still bullied. So when a child, this thing, you know, when I see a question, I relate it to my environment. Immediately I see it's like it's something that is happening that I'm seeing. I see a question on something like this. I see it like it's a very good thing if the children understand, because it gives them better job opportunities in the future. For instance, somebody who had studied in Nigeria, but had been able to mix with other people and understands the culture of the Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Hausas, that child can easily pick up a job in Hausa land, being that he or she understands Hausa language and their way of life, and will not do badly, okay? It gives them an opportunity to also get like international admissions from their countries. Like children in Nigeria who can speak French can easily get admissions to these Francophone countries like Paris, where they can study and they won't be taken aback. They won't be taken by surprise. All right. So there are like job opportunities, admission procedures, and all of that is an added advantage. Okay. And then they can easily communicate with other people and mix up with them without feeling inferior. Have you ever felt inferior before? When I went to School of Nursing, I was close to 30 or that range. And then I felt really inferior in the midst of my mates, because there I had somebody who was 17, somebody who was 19. I think the youngest in my class was 16 plus. And here I am, old mama in their midst. And it was basic nursing, not post-basic. So I felt really inferior in their presence, and it made me to study more than them. I didn't have time to, do some of the things that they were doing. And with that, it will make it really hard for people to cope if they cannot speak the language of the people around them, or they don't know their culture. Another thing is that it helps them to prevent running into trouble. They won't run into trouble with those people, okay? Because they can interact with them. They understand their language, they understand their culture, they know the do's and the don'ts, okay? So yeah, that's one reason. From these reasons that we have discussed, you can pick from them. From the concessions that we have discussed, you can pick from them and do your assignment. The only place you have to work is your sentence formation. How you put these things in sentences within a paragraph for me. How you write your grammar, okay? How you give me good grammar, and then your time. As you are writing, please time yourself. You are not cheating me when you don't time yourself and you don't write within the range. Because if you are used to using 1 hour to write, it means you will write only task 1 in the whole period for your English for your writing task, which is not going to help you. As much as possible, straight to the point, brainstorm, get your synonyms, go ahead and do your work. This is one work, okay? We have a few minutes, but I will use that to explain both sides and opinion because those things don't take time. Both sides and opinion essay, it will ask you to discuss both sides and give your own opinion. That's number 2 type of question. Right? Discuss both sides and give your own opinion. Here, in your introduction, please, don't write like I agree or I disagree. Please. This essay will discuss both sides of the view and give my opinion, full stop. Please, I beg you. After you have paraphrased, you have done your general statement, your specific statement should be, this essay will discuss both sides of the argument, or if they use both sides, don't use sides again, use views. Both sides of the argument or both views and give my opinion. Your opinion in both sides is in your conclusion. That's where you will say what your opinion is. Please keep your opinion from paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. Paragraph 1 is introduction. Your opinion should not appear there. Paragraph 2 is your first body paragraph. Your opinion should not come near it. Paragraph 3 is your second body paragraph. Your opinion should be far from it, okay? Paragraph 4, which is your conclusion, is where you are going to say your opinion. Did I make myself clear, please? In your body paragraph, discuss both sides. The first side, discuss it in paragraph 1, in your first body paragraph. The second side, discuss it in your second body paragraph, all right? Sorry. Then in your conclusion, summarize first body paragraph, second body paragraph, and then give your opinion. That's the only place where your opinion is coming without appearing in the body and is coming in as per in the conclusion. Do you understand my point? Do you understand my point, please? Let me see if I can get, we'll have to get, it's not difficult. That's why I decided to do it. It's not that hard. We have explained both sides. Here, this kind of question tests your ability to discuss both sides of an argument and give your opinion. So you support with logical reasons, all right? To score well here, you need to argue both sides of an argument clearly and give your opinion alongside. There are different question types that you will see. Number 1 is discuss the advantages and disadvantages and give your opinion. Number 2 is discuss the number 2 is discuss both sides of this argument and then give your opinion. All right? That is the kind of question that you will find here. Okay? Those are the kind of questions that you will find here. Discuss both views and give your opinion. I'm going to ask you a question after. Is anybody confused? Let me not move too fast. Is anybody confused here? I am confused. Let me see your hand. Thank God. Nobody. Okay. So it's very important to realize for you to know that every of these tasks has to be done completely. Remember your band descriptors. Task completion. They say discuss both sides and give your opinion. You have to discuss the other side, this side, and give opinion for me to say you have completely carried out the task. Okay? So with what we have learned today, based on this, we are going to plan our both sides and opinion. What do we do first? You underline the keywords, and then you identify your synonyms, isn't it? Then you decide what kind of response. What kind of response do we have here? We are discussing both sides and then giving our opinion, all right? Then you brainstorm key points. At least 2 points, 2 main points for each of the sides. At least 2 main points for each of the sides. Now, the structure. What is the structure? Introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and your conclusions. All right? For introduction, you need to rephrase. That is, you need to rephrase a general statement, then your specific statement along with it. Okay? So let's do this question. Let me look for a question. Both sides and opinion. Okay. Write this question down. I think we have done this question before. Let me see. There has been an increase in the proliferation of private cars in many parts of the world. There has been an increase in the proliferation of private cars in many parts of the world. Some people think that, are we getting it? Is somebody writing? Some people think that this is a positive trend, while others assume that there are negative consequences. Some people think that this is a positive trend, while others assume that there are negative consequences. Full stop. Discuss both sides, discuss both views, and give your opinion. Discuss both views and give your opinion. I didn't get the question. Let me see your hand. I didn't get the question. Let me see your hand. Where did you stop? I'll say it again. There has been an increase in the proliferation of private cars in many parts of the world. Some people think that this is a positive trend, while others assume that there are negative consequences. There has been an increase in the proliferation of private cars in many countries. Full stop. Some people think that this is a positive trend, while others assume that there are negative consequences. Full stop. The assignment is to discuss both views and give your opinion. I've sent it as a message to everyone. You have not gotten the question. Let me see your hand. Now, for you, it will know. To know, you know, try. Okay, I've sent it as you can see it now, okay?
I've gotten it. Oh.
But you were raising your hand now. Okay, so we are going to do this task as a class work, then we can go home for today. It's already past our time, but let's just do this. I will explain it. In fact, I'm finishing writing task too. So here, you are going to get, based on what we have learned today, putting into consideration all of the band descriptors, you are going to give me an introduction. You are going to, in your first body paragraph, discuss the positive trend, okay? In your second body paragraph, discuss the negative consequences. Do you get the point? Okay? Then in your conclusion, give me a summary of the positive trend and the negative trend and tell me what your opinion is. How do I do that? Number one, in your introduction, paraphrase the whole passage, the whole question prompt, plus your specific statement, which is for you to discuss both views and give your opinion. This is quite simple. This essay will discuss both sides of the opinion and give, both sides of the view and give my opinion, or both sides of the argument and give my opinion. That is your introduction. All right? In your first body paragraph, tell me all of the positive trend about the increase in cars, in private cars. In your second body paragraph, tell me about the negatives, the consequences. Okay? And in your conclusion, tell me. Now here, in conclusion, you may not say that I am of the opinion that, as per your ending. You can make a statement to show your opinion by supporting it. If you choose to say I am of the opinion that, then you should choose to say the negatives first if you are of the opinion for the positive. If you are of the opinion with, if you are with the opinion of the negatives, say the positive first, then say your opinion. If you are with the positive, say the negative first, then say your opinion. Do I make myself clear? Don't say your opinion before you come and say the other side of it. Say the other side first, then conclude with your opinion. Do you get the point? You have not spoken in this class. Hannah. She has seen me. Hey, why did she call my name now? Hannah, unmute yourself. I've given you permission to unmute yourself.
Ma, good evening, ma. Well done, ma.
Well done, ma. Thank you. I greet you. Please, ma.
Yes, ma.
Is the increase in the ownership of private cars a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing, ma.
And it's a bad thing. That's what they are saying here. I tricked you in that question, but you didn't know. Whether it is good or bad, you must say the two. And you must have equal number of points. That is one thing with your both sides and opinion essay. All right. Here you don't have a choice, but you must discuss the two. Only that you stick to one of the sides in your conclusion. That's the only difference. Okay? Yes. So now it's a good thing. As far as a good thing, why is it a good thing? Oh, yeah, now I'm waiting for you. Hannah, tell me your points, your reason for saying it's good. You said it's good now. Tell me why it is good.
It's good for convenience purpose, ma.
One.
It's a means of transportation.
Is public transport not a means of transportation?
Then it's cheaper compared to if someone
That is it. That's another thing. You spend less money. Okay.
Then it reduces the air pollution.
Increases air pollution. Number 2. Traffic in Lagos, where almost everybody is a car owner. Yes, we cannot move on the road. What about traffic? The gridlock.
Yes,
is it not too much?
It's too much. Yes, you are right, ma'am.
Air pollution, noise pollution. Those are two different things, so you can discuss the two. And at the end of the day, it increases global warming. It increases the green mass, the green gases, and it is now endangering our lives. What about carbon monoxide that is a threat to human life? It increases the health hazards, isn't it? It's hazardous to our health because of the fumes from the exhaust of these different cars on the roads, on the streets. Convenience, yes, it's cheaper. You can travel with family without fear. All right? You are more careful when you drive your own car, and it prevents accidents. Okay? Who else has a different point to add? Christiana. Give me 1 point why it is a negative, it's a positive thing.
To have a car.
Why it is positive?
When you have a car, you can decide when and how to travel.
I didn't hear you.
When one has a car,
I think I didn't hear.
Can you hear me now, ma?
Yeah, when you have a car, what happens?
Now there is convenience. That you can decide when to travel. Then I believe it is. Yes,
what about comfort? I was expecting somebody to talk about comfort. You are not in the bus where they will squeeze you. They will squeeze the life out of you. You are in your own car, Abby. Yes, ma'am, Mr. Peter, sir. I can. Yes.
Can we also say it adds to the family asset?
Of course, it is an asset, isn't it?
Yes,
it's an asset.
So you can use it as collateral.
You can say that it boosts the morale of the car owner. You know, there's a range. I mean, there's like a class where the society places car owners. Like you have money. It's an opportunity for you to showcase your wealth, you know. It's a valid point, actually. It's valid. I'm telling you the truth. It's a valid point. Yes. Okay, yes, please. Any other point?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, yes, in fact, everybody understands this one. Yes, I'm happy. Go ahead.
Please, in the positive, can you say that some people can even use it as a means of income? Because someone that has, can you hear me, ma?
I can hear you.
Someone
It's
that
valid,
has,
but I will prefer you that has a car and does not have and can use it for like transport, picking people and making more money.
yes, please.
Is that what you mean?
Yes, please.
Yes, it maybe is valid, but I would like you to talk more, because from the way they are talking, it's private cars not being used for transport. Okay, we're talking about private cars here. If you have started using your car for business, it has become public transport, isn't it? Anybody can board it. So we're talking about private cars, people owning the cars for themselves, and not that they are using it for transport. Okay, so it can boost your morale as per the society places a particular you know, like an image. They have an image that they have like a class where they place car owners. Okay, it's for your convenience. You can stand up now and tell me you want to go to Enugu from 12 midnight, you will start going. But if you go to the bus station, you may not see buses to Enugu at that point. Convenience, okay, you can travel at your own time, you can go to places at your time. All right, and then comfort as well. You may be alone in your car when nobody has to like you know, like inconvenience you, pushing you and squeezing you like crayfish, you know, inside the public transport. Okay, and then for the negative side, talked about the air pollution, the noise pollution, the health hazards from the fumes, you know, the contribution to global warming by increasing the green gases that increases, you know, at the end of the day, it endangers human lives. All right. And we have talked about traffic as well. So obviously we have 4 points on this side, we have 4 points on this side. You can decide which one of the 4, which 2 from each 4 to choose and discuss and talk about. So in my conclusion, I will go and say, in conclusion, all right, private cars or owning a private car, okay, contributes. It's my opinion that I'm going to talk about at the end. So I will talk about why for me now, I support not owning cars, because I'll give my reasons. In conclusion, it is more convenient and people are more comfortable when they own their own cars. But, or however, it increases the fumes from this exhaust, these numerous cars and their exhaust, increases the carbon monoxide in the air that endangers human life. Many or quite a number of these cars being on the road at the same time also increases the traffic or the gridlock. Okay. It is in my conclusion, my however or although is what to show the examiner that even though it is convenient for people to own cars, they are more comfortable in their own cars and they can travel anytime they want to travel. However, owning several cars or with too many cars on the road, it endangers people's lives and their health in terms of, you know, the increase in gases, the air pollution, the noise pollution, and delays other people's movement because of the excess traffic or gridlock on the highways. Did you get what I did? If you are supporting that it is good, it's the positive you want to support. I support the negative. If you say it is the positive you want to support, then bring my negative first before you take your positive to the end. So you will say that, in conclusion, although several cars increases the generation of green gas that can lead to global warming, or increases carbon monoxide that is a hazard to health, or that increases the health hazard, and also causes noise pollution and air pollution. However, it is more convenient, more comfortable to own a car. In addition, the society places you in a class that you are wealthy, or it boosts your morale as an individual. So what you are doing is that you are saying, although it is a bad thing in the sense that it can cause health hazards to people, it is hazardous to people's health, but it is still better to own a car because of comfort and convenience. If those are the points that you chose. Is it clear to anybody? Does anyone have a question? No. Number 3, and finally, in less than 15 minutes, we will finish. This is your second assignment. Number 3 is a 2-question essay. 2-question essay. Here you are asked one question, but you answer it as part 2 because it is 2 questions in 1. 2 questions in 1. All right? 2-question essay. 2-question essay. This type of question is also known as the problem and solution. You can hear them say problem and solution. Although me, I don't even like the problem and solution thing because it's confusing. It's not always about problem and solution. Sometimes it will be causes and consequences. Okay? So you will see this kind of question, you are expected to answer both sides. Here, there's an introduction, there's a body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and then there's a conclusion like the other ones. You need to plan, underline keywords and note down useful synonyms, decide what kind of response, brainstorm key points for your answer, decide the structure. What is our structure? Our structure is still introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and the conclusion. For your introduction, for both sides and opinion, you rephrase the topic and you introduce both questions. This essay will discuss the causes and the effects, or the causes and the consequences, or the causes and profile possible solution, depending on what question you have been asked. In your first body paragraph, you are going to talk about one part of the question. If they have asked you causes and solution, you talk about the causes, everything. In your second body paragraph, you will talk about the possible solutions. And in your conclusion, you summarize your main points for each of them. All right? Okay? Now there's a question. Our task is here. Our task, let me see if I can. Our task says, can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you all see my screen now? Yeah? No. The use of illegal drugs such as heroin and cocaine are becoming more and more common in many countries. What are some of the problems associated with drug abuse, and what are the possible solutions? 1 minute to write it down, please. 1 minute, write it down. Whew. Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sufianu, what are some of the causes of drug abuse?
Health problems. Causes.
I didn't hear you, sir.
Hold on, ma'am. The causes of drug abuse.
Yes, please.
Okay. What could cause drug abuse? It could be as a result of the availability of the drug.
Okay. But what are some of the problems that are associated with drug abuse?
Okay. Lower productivity.
How?
In our jobs.
Good. Number one. Two,
then it
please.
could lead to health problems.
Good. Like what?
Liver cirrhosis, kidney failure.
Yeah. Eye issues, eye problems, heart failures as well.
Yes.
I want you to know that drugs is not just they are asking you drug abuse.
Yes.
Drug abuse. It's not just about heroin. They're asking you drug abuse. Problems of drug abuse can be alcohol. You know, alcohol to some extent is a form of it's a form of drug. Anything that can intoxicate, all right? So if you think of those issues, drug abuse could be codeine abuse, you know, like all this cough syrup that they drink. What does it do to them? It makes them high and then they go and misbehave, isn't it? They become violent at home. They beat their wives. They fight everybody on the streets. They can't contribute anything to the family. They become like useless, you know, in the society. When you see this kind of question, think about the area boys and what are the problems associated with them. At the end of the day, they can't fit into a proper society, okay? Inferiority complex can set in. The health hazards are there. So the society loses with this kind of persons. Does anyone has anything else to say in addition to some of the problems that are associated with drug abuse, apart from the health issues, society, whatever, and the rest of them? Any other thing to add? You've talked about health issues like liver cirrhosis. Yes, please say it.
Like poverty.
So what of being a dropout in school?
Exactly. They become useless in the society. It can lead to school dropouts. All right. Those are valid
Also,
points because most of them are actually dropouts. If you think of those guys in the Onitsha and Enugu garage or go to Lagos, those people that in the days of the real area boys in Lagos, not now that they are all Lasma and Loma. I grew up in Lagos, so I knew what happened in Lagos in the days of the real Molue, you know, the area boys, you know. So yeah, if you see this kind of question, try to visualize it. Any question you see, try to visualize it. It will give you, please go to your room. It will give you a better understanding of what we are trying to explain. That way, you will have more points when you see the lives of those people. All right? So we have said health issues leading to school dropout.
Hello, ma'am. What of poverty?
Poverty, I agreed to it when you said it. Poverty. Even what about marital dissolutions, divorces in their homes? Okay? Poverty. And then in their jobs also, they will start failing in their jobs. Sorry? Unemployment. They'll lose their jobs. If you become a drug addict, you lose your job and you become unemployed, isn't it?
Untimely death.
Untimely death. Thank you. Untimely death.
Mentally derailed.
Mental illness, yeah.
You see? So some of them, because of the excess drugs that they have taken, it will make them to run mad. Let's not use that word, but that's the way it is. They run mad and they end up in the... So as you are thinking of this, be thinking of the solutions. That way you are faster. You know, we'll talk about mental illness. So what happens to them? Rehabilitations, isn't it? You talk about maybe like poverty and all of that. What happened? What do we do? When they become poor and all of that, what is the solution?
Empowerment.
The government can organize certain things for them, like skill acquisition. If they drop out of school and they can't go back to school, okay, after they have been rehabilitated from the rehab centers, you now are introducing them afresh into the society so that they can fit in, isn't it? What about having close friends who show them love and care? Because the truth is, some of these drug addicts had one problem or the other that led them into drug abuse. Some of them is neglect from their families. Okay, some of them, many of them are from broken homes. So if the government can set up some things to help in curbing some of these problems, at the end of the day, these issues will be reduced, isn't it? It will be reduced. Am I correct? What about the sales of these drugs that they are using? For instance, if the sales are prohibited, and anybody caught with it is prosecuted, it will keep people away from it and they will stop buying. If nobody is selling, nobody can buy. If there are rules and laws and regulations in place, okay, this will help to curb the circulation of these drugs that comes into their hands for them to use and become useless members of the society. So the government has to help. What about the issue of the health hazard? What about health awareness? When we have billboards, that is showing smokers are liable to die young, the Federal Ministry of Health going into actions with health campaigns, to tell people what happens to them when they engage in drug abuse so that their health, okay, can be preserved. So you see, when you think of the problem, one side of your brain should be thinking of the solution. That way, as you are writing the other paragraph, as you finish, see, let me tell you, the ideas will just be flowing. And in less than 30 minutes, you have finished your work. Am I making sense? Now we have finished with writing task 2. It's going to take me a little bit of time to come back to writing task 2, but that does not mean that we cannot send in questions. I may come across a question and I will send it into the group and ask you to write on. In the meantime, we have done the 3 types of questions in writing task 2, and I have given you examples. These examples that we have discussed are your assignment. You go ahead and write them. If you come across questions like this, write them, send them to my email. I will try as much as possible to go through them and make corrections. Any question so far, from the beginning to the end? Any question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much for the lectures. I appreciate it. But please, in the first writing task 2 that we did about do you agree or disagree and to what extent, please, why writing that in the introduction? Is it for you to write after you've paraphrased the topic? Then are you to write I strongly agree, or just I agree? I don't know how you bring in the agree and the extent you agree there.
There are 2 different questions there. Do you agree or disagree? 1. To what extent do you agree or disagree?
Yes.
Do you agree or disagree is asking whether you agree or disagree. So whether you agree, you say you agree. Whether you disagree, you say you disagree. The second question is saying to what extent. So that's where I said that you either strongly agree or strongly disagree, or somewhat agree or somewhat disagree. If you somewhat agree or somewhat disagree, you are on the fence. And there's always a mistake of contradicting yourself. when you somewhat agree and somewhat disagree, you also need to have equal number of points for all of them. This does not usually happen with many people. And at the end of the day, you find out that you tilt to one side than the other side. So it is better for you to either strongly agree or strongly disagree, so that you can actually have a concession against your own point. And that's where we discuss that whether you strongly agree or strongly disagree, or you agree or disagree, you should have one point from the opposite side of what you are in, so that it can contradict one of your points. And that brother explained that you will still have 2 points even after your point has been contradicted. So you need to tell me, if the question says you agree, do you agree or disagree? Tell me whether you agree or disagree. If the question says whether you strongly disagree or you strongly disagree, or to what extent, you need to tell me whether it is strongly or it is somewhat. And I have advised that it should be strongly, because that puts you on a safer side, in a safer position. You are still confused?
Yes, please.
Those are two different questions. That's what I'm trying to explain, sis. There are two different questions, okay? One of the questions, you can't see two of them in one exam. There's no way you can see two of them in one exam. So you will be asked whether you agree or disagree. You may be asked whether you to what extent you agree or disagree. You may be asked if the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Okay? So I only explained all of the types so that you can know how to answer when you are faced with any of the types.
Okay, I understand. I thought you can see both in one question. Okay, thank you.
No, it's one of them.
Thank you.
Any other question, please?
Hello, ma.
Okay, go ahead.
My question is on both sides and your opinion essay.
Okay.
Yes, you told us that in the first paragraph, after writing our introduction, the first body paragraph 1, we are to write for the topic. Then the second one is against. So my question is that, is it that it's only in that concluding part, the conclusion, that we're just going to say that, okay, in my opinion.
Your opinion comes in only in the conclusion. I
have issues with that fixing of that in my opinion.
I didn't ask you to say in my opinion.
What? Okay,
let me explain it again, please.
I guess
in both sides and opinion. In both sides.
We're asking about, okay. Thank you.
In both sides and opinion, after your introduction, in your first body paragraph, discuss one side of the opinion, the first side. Some people think that it is a positive trend, so discuss the positive trend. In the second side, that's your second body paragraph, while others assume that it has negative consequences, discuss the negative consequences. Do you get my point? Then, in your conclusion, remember the question says discuss both sides and give your opinion. They didn't say discuss one side, give your opinion, discuss the other side, give your opinion. They didn't say give your opinion and discuss both sides. So whatever you're doing, you have to discuss both sides first before you give your opinion. And you can only discuss both sides, one of the side in first body paragraph, the other side in the second body paragraph. So where does your opinion come in? Your opinion now comes in the conclusion. You are going by the instruction. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. You finish discussing both sides first before you give your opinion. And you are going to be discussing both sides in body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2, meaning that your opinion comes in your conclusion. In your conclusion, for me to know what your opinion is that if you are for the negative side, you bring the positive side first, then you tell me however. Okay? Do you get my point? So make good use of the words although and however or but. Although, in conclusion, although owning cars, okay, owning a personal car promotes convenience and comfort when you travel. However, it promotes the expulsion of carbon monoxide that is hazardous to health, increases the green gas that puts the life of man in danger, and increases the gridlock. This should be from whatever point you have given in your first and second body paragraphs. So it is the point that you are putting last now that shows me where you belong. So you don't need to say, in my opinion. No. Okay. You don't need to say that. If by the time, it's simple English language, isn't it? It's simple English. By the time you have finished writing this, you yourself, you read the essay and you will nod your head. You will know that I have written something. So give me your opinion as the last. If you prefer that it is negative, then bring the positive points first and bring your negative last. If you think that it is negative, all right, if you say it is positive, bring the negative first, take the positive last. Your point, decide where you support, should come last. What you are trying to say is that even though when you have a car, society see you like a big man, and you can go anywhere you want to go to. As for me, I don't want cars because it puts people in danger. You are giving me your, do you get my point? It's like you are arguing. And the examiner will know that this is good because you know the side of, you know the side where it is positive and you know the side where it is negative. Yet you have decided that it is the negative or the positive. You have chosen one of the sides. The difference here is that you have equal points, equal number of points for your paragraphs here. The difference between this one, and decide where you agree or disagree. Okay, and then there's a difference in the question, in the sense that in agree or disagree, they just say the question, they don't give you the other side of it. If this question was going to be an agree or disagree, they will say that some people say that this is a positive trend. So do you agree it is positive trend, or you don't agree it is positive trend? They won't ask you while others say it is negative. When you see the other side of it, it means it is a both side and opinion. So they take away that side from it so that you can concentrate on one side, even though there is a negative. And that negative is where you are bringing it in your concession. So if I had wanted you to write this particular question as an opinion essay, I would have said that some people think that it is a positive trend, full stop. Then do you agree or disagree? Or to what extent do you agree or disagree? That's what I would have asked you. But because I want it as a both side and opinion, I want you to do the negatives and the positive, then give me an opinion. Simple. Does anybody have a better understanding now?
Okay. I'm clear, ma. Thank you, ma.
Please, it's clear, ma. Thank you, ma.
Okay. So go ahead and do this work and send it. With this, we have today spent over 2 hours, and that is to pay back for the few minutes that I took in talking. All right. I want you to pass the exam. I mean, I've been sitting here. You've been here you put all your activities on hold because of this. So you should write this exam once and pass. I may not be available all the time to answer all of your questions, especially when you send them to the mails, because I'm still working full time. That does not mean that I will not attend to them. If it's too much, contact Mr. Tunde if maybe you feel that we have not answered over a long period of time, which is not even going to happen. So please do your work, send it in, okay? Adhere to corrections. If there are any of you that know each other or are close to each other, 2, 3, 4 of you, you can form like a group discussion and explain things to yourself, something that you understand and I don't. We can explain, we can share ideas, we can write and compare writings. my passing is not going to contribute to your failure, or your passing is not going to contribute to my failure in any way. That is it. Everybody in this house can write and pass at the same time, and heaven will not fall. So please, I want you to do this assignment, send them in, and let's see how it goes. I'm planning that we will have a reading class on Saturday, hopefully. Our next class will be a reading class, hopefully. All right? With this, my name is Joy Agagwu. I am still the IELTS tutor for overseas nurses. I'm a registered nurse here. I'm a registered nurse in Nigeria, registered midwife in Nigeria, and a mother of 3 wonderful kids. I've been the anchor for this lesson, and I say you go ahead, have a great evening, do your assignment and send them in. Good night. God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.